Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Empty Quiver, everything archery related and a little more, proudly sponsored by Tethered, Vantage Point Archery, and Darton Archery. Ladies and gentlemen, how are we doing? You might recognize this man, Pedro. How you doing, buddy?
Hello, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, man. I'm good, actually. I'm, one big coffee cup deep, so I'm ready to rock and roll now. It's very good. So. Yeah, it's been a little while going. We're both pretty busy people, but we managed to make it work this morning, so it's good.
Yeah, it's always a trouble to find time. And you were like yesterday, like, no, the ties are good. We're gonna go spearfishing. So it's just like,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
this-
You got to make hay while the sun's shining, right? So,
yeah.
yeah.
So
How did the spearfishing go?
I mean, it was more for my wife to spearfish for like dive for like the second or third time.
Oh,
So
cool.
it was just
Yeah. What
getting a warm up for the summer.
What is the spearfishing like in Spain there?
It's good. I mean, like
Yeah.
not on our area, like there is not that much fish, but it's fun. Like we have it like 10 minutes or 15 from our house. So
Oh,
I
perfect.
think like I don't know if you have ever done it or not, but like if you are a hunter, at some point you need to try it because it's like hunting but underwater.
Yeah, yeah. Because like I've done a bit of spearfishing in New Zealand, but just with the Hawaiian slings, with the rubber piece on the end. I've never used a spear gun, so and we go for like butterfish and stuff like that, and they're really nice to eating. But I, I think you've been to New Zealand a few times. Like my perspective of the world is a bit warped from growing up there. Like I thought everything was like that, and like how crazy the hunting is and all that other stuff. So it's it's interesting to come abroad and hear how everybody else does the spear hunting or the hunting and all that other stuff too. So
Yeah.
yeah, no.
No, but here in general, like there is way more pressure than in New Zealand. But
Hmm.
I mean, last year it was the World Championships were right by my house,
Oh
so
wow,
I don't
okay.
know why it was like it's terrible. Is to make it challenging for, and there were some teams that they, I think one or two teams from like this is the top spearfisher in the world, they didn't caught a fish in 2 days.
Okay.
Yeah, now it makes me feel better
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
was an awful spearfisher. So
That's cool. Are they are they there would be the crazy free dive like stuff? Are they out in the deep water or are they just
no,
in your?
this is very shallow water.
Uh-huh, okay. Okay,
This is
interesting.
a different technique, so you need to be quicker, you need to be faster, you need to be.
Yeah, okay.
So it's not
That's interesting.
about getting relaxed, going deep, one dive, come up. It's just the opposite. So
Yeah, okay. That's interesting, man. That's pretty cool. I haven't got into spearfishing that much, but I understand the basics of it. So, yeah, that's all good. So, Pedro, actually, a quick introduction of yourself too, like your channels, how long you've been doing it for, and where people can find you.
yes, so long story short, we produce media content in general, and we used to have a TV show in Spain, but now we are mainly focused on YouTube. And yeah, we are publishing all our content now on YouTube because I think like paid TV, at least in Spain, is struggling. Not that many people are paying, and at the end, with online now, you can reach worldwide anyone, anywhere, anytime. So we are really focused on that, and they can find me. I don't know, Pedro Hunting Adventure. So like there is not that many channels with Pedro hunting, so I think it should be easy to be found. And yeah, we also work. We have been doing that for I don't know. I think I've uploaded the first video like 20 years ago, something like that. I checked, so a long time ago.
Wow, that's cool, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really cool.
Back then, we couldn't like there were not like libraries to find the music and all that stuff. So I was actually recording with a recorder the music from the Primos videos to
Yeah,
try to
yeah.
do the intros of my videos. So if you listen closely to the music, you will hear like someone like calling turkeys on the background, an egg bugle and all that because I was trying to steal the music to try to put it on my videos because
Yeah.
I thought they were like super cool.
That's hilarious. That's awesome. I love watching some of those old videos you have when you're like younger, like teenage years, and you've got like all that big hair and stuff like that. It's freaking awesome. It's pretty funny to look back on it all.
Um,
So,
my dad has been like recording his hunts for forever, I think
hmm
since the 80s.
hmm
and I think like it's pretty cool to see the whole evolution and all those trips, how they were filmed and how the things have changed, and they are not as cinematographic as today, but super super interesting to watch.
Yeah, yeah, it's very cool, and it's funny as I look at maybe the people that are still making videos, say 20 years older than us, like, and they're making them digitally, but their style is still quite old school in a lot of the presentation and stuff like that, and it's some of those old, especially the old African ones, have kind of a magic to it that I don't know. It's like it's kind of gone now. Like it's because everyone's so different, focused on like crisp, clean images and music and nice beauty and stuff like that. But like you know, those guys could only do those takes once. You know what I mean? Like, so there's something like pretty cool about watching a lot of that stuff. It's nice. So
It's the same with photos. Like when you had like the, how do you call, like the
yeah,
you
yeah,
only could take
yeah.
40 photos from a trip, so you were really thinking about those. And sometimes you, I don't know if you did film, but we used to take like a film camera,
hmm
and like you come home and it's like, oh, I screw up the lighting or something. And
So I've only ever owned one film camera, and that was I must have been about three at Christmas time, and it came in my Santa's sack, you know, and so it was on the end of my bed, and I opened it up before Mum and Dad obviously there, but I took all of the photos in the darkness of my bedroom. So my dad was like really, really unimpressed. But of course, that's what a kid's going to do. They find a camera, they know what they're going to do. You know, it's just pretty funny. So that was, yeah, that was my first experience, and that was my last camera I ever got. So, yeah.
I actually remember telling a friend of mine is like when the mini disc and like the digital thing was starting, telling him like I'm never gonna switch from tape because there is no way the quality is gonna be better than tape. And I
Yeah,
regret because I lost 2 years and now I have a bunch of tapes that I need to digitalize and all that. But
yeah, yeah. No, it's amazing how far it's come. It's like I only started in the digital age, really. So, like, I never had to do any of that kind of VHS processing or anything. And I was even thinking about how you do the cuts and stuff back then. It must be, I don't, yeah, can't even imagine how you do it all. So, yeah.
my dad used to do it, and he will like put like the music, record the music and the audio, and will put voiceover because at the beginning the film didn't have audio, so it was
Aha.
just like film. So it was like the 8 millimeter stuff. So it's just like
Jeez,
a
that is
cool concept.
crazy. Yeah, very cool. That is awesome. So, and I have to say, as I know I said to you in America earlier this year, I was like, I always laugh about the first time I actually met you because I was working for Call of the Wild then, and we met you at Yelton Hund because we
What were you working for?
remember that digital hunting game, Call of the Wild, it was
Ah,
called.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And we contacted you about like getting Kuyu involved in the game and stuff like that. And I had no idea who you were, and I just started bow hunting, and I was like, "Oh, do you do some bow hunting? Do you?" And you're like, "Just a little bit." It's so funny. It's like, oh, what an idiot.
I
Yeah,
remember. I ended up getting that game and trying it, and it was freaking amazing.
yeah. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. It's come a long way now too. They just released a where was it, Nepal map or something. So it's got yeah, tigers and all sorts of weird stuff on it now. So
Yeah, but it's interesting because my son has been playing to the phone
yes.
app. I think it's a different game or whatever,
hmm hmm
but he has learned with 7 years old like the shot placement. It's incredible
Yes.
how good he knows shot placement with different angles, where the lungs are, the heart. It's just incredible that I think like showing pictures,
Yes.
it's impossible to explain the
Yeah.
shot placement. But
Exactly.
with those video games, like he shot his first animal now in Africa,
Yeah.
and he was like, eh, the PH
He
was
knew.
like, no, you need to. It's like he knows.
Yeah.
Like, he knows how much lead he needs to take on a running animal. So it's like, don't worry. Like
yeah.
where he needs to aim, he knows.
Yeah, that's cool. It's actually funny is like we did a lot of marketing digging and stuff on it, and they're actually really good at getting people interested in hunting for real life now. We did a survey, and I can't remember what it was. It was like 55% of all the players do hunt in real life that play that game. And then there was about 30% of non hunters that were interested to try hunting now because of that game. And I actually know a couple of people in Sweden here who take the hunting exam courses, and they sometimes get kids through from that have played those games. So, I'm just going to put this out there that computer games are not all bad for hunters. Like, you get all those people, I should be outside, but
Yeah.
it sparks that interest that, I mean, I don't think there's a hunter really here who kind of knows why he has that burning desire. But I think if those games can unlock that, then it's a good thing for
No,
everybody.
I
So,
think it's great, and I think
yeah.
those games, like, there is not that much game, so they are pretty realistic. So like,
Yes.
it's funny
Yeah.
to see a kid just like waiting for half an hour on a tree stand on a game. It's not like just animals running and just shooting. It's just like the
Yes.
guy is like with
Yeah.
the colic,
Yeah. Yeah.
waiting.
Yeah, definitely. It's really, yeah, it's pretty fascinating what they can do these days with all that stuff. So, no, that's cool, man. And so, what is your current bow and arrow setup? Are you mixing arrows still, depending on like where you go? Right, you got heavier ones from
So
Africa and stuff.
we are. I'm changing way too many times a
Uh huh.
year, but
Okay.
more or less, I have like a mountain game setup, which is like light arrow. So we are talking about 420 grains or something
Mm-hmm.
like that.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty light, mechanical, small veins. Like it's the Boning X3 vein, so it's
Mm-hmm.
like 25 but very short profile.
Yep.
I'm shooting with
Mm-hmm.
four flets and trying to optimize a fast arrow, flat trajectory, good on wind, and to try to really shoot long range with it.
Yes.
And that's I'm shooting the Victory VAP, like just
Yes.
the Victory VAP.
Mm-hmm.
And on the other side, I will have like a bigger game. Bigger
Yes.
game. I'm talking about brown bear, moose, African stuff. That it's like I don't know. I'm shooting 80 pounds everything. So
Okay. Okay. Cool. Yeah.
I'm having good poundage, and I should on that will be the VAP SS, and it has like 460 grains.
Yes. Okay.
It is heavy, but probably most people will be like that's super light, but that's
Yes.
a bit heavier.
Yes.
I mean, for
Yeah.
buffalo, I do go like to 500,
Yes.
but I'm not huge fan of heavy arrows.
Yeah.
I think I
Yeah.
have enough
How
penetration.
many? Yeah. How many buffalo have you shot with a bow now?
One,
Just
no
one.
two,
Yeah.
two, two.
Two. Yeah. Yeah. And how did they go? Did you use that same setup, like 500 grains, or?
So like the first one I shot it in Benin,
Mm-hmm.
so like quite a few years ago. So that's the Western buffalo,
Yes.
and the shot was good, but a tiny bit low.
Yes.
And I think it was because the arrow was too heavy. So the
Okay.
thing, when you have too heavy of an arrow, you have to be very precise with the distance.
Yes.
And it's not the same shooting it out of a blind that you can have your
Mm-hmm.
time and
Mm-hmm.
range it because it's drinking or whatever, and you have like 20, you adjust
Yes.
it, than when you're spot and stop.
Yeah.
And if you go way too heavy, the difference between 35 and 32, there's a
Yes.
difference.
Yes.
So I want to make sure that if the animal is walking, by the time I draw, it doesn't, because some of those animals you really don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Like they make two steps and it's like, it's 2 steps, but it's not the 2 steps of a rollback. Like they move
Yes.
5 meters with two
Yes.
steps. So
Yeah.
I think there is a compromise between precision and how
Mm-hmm.
heavy you can go.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
after,
Because
yeah,
I went down the heavy arrow hole, and I went to even I think 760 or something. It was the heaviest arrow I had, and it worked. But I've gone back down to five, like between 500 to 550. I think is like my where I like to sit now, and like I mean, I was talking to the Varnish Put Archery guys not so long ago. Is I haven't had an arrow stay in an animal now for a long time. You know what I mean? It just blows through everything, and um, on the other hand, because I'm using single bevels, I was talking to them as I feel like sometimes I have a little bit of wasted energy now. Like maybe I could go to a bigger broadhead or something, and just try and get a little bit bigger cut and stuff on it. But then again, at the end of the day, everything falls over dead pretty quickly, so I shouldn't probably complain too much. But I'm someone that kind of overthinks things a little bit. sometimes, I
Yeah,
think. So,
and I think you need to
yeah.
adapt your equipment to
Mhm.
the type of style of hunting that you do. And I
Mhm.
do a lot of spot and stock. So for
Yeah.
me, the range it's a big thing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And also like the precision. Like I barely, except for like moose, like very heavy animal like buffalo, whatever, I always use mechanicals
Mhm. Mhm.
because I think that at long range, like the precision on it's not the same.
Mhm.
Like you can get a fixed blade to shoot as good, but to a certain extent.
Mhm.
Maybe 80 yards is not. It's hard to make a fixed blade, and if it's
Yes.
windy, and if you apply a little bit of torque because you are under pressure, and all
Yes.
that, like all those things,
They
are
make a big difference. Yeah, especially and you're right. Like once you go from expandables to fixed blade, it's really going to find any faults in your form. That's why a lot of big people's problem is when they first start shooting them is it's going to the left a little bit or something, and then I'm like, if you loosen your grip up and just squeeze through, you'll see quite a big difference with it all. But
yeah, no, and like
yeah,
yeah, I mean, like they are not as precise,
hmm
and depends again. Like I'm happy, like I think like for some setups, but I also like at 80 pounds, a fast bow also makes things
hmm
more critical.
hmm and I think this is like a really good conversation too because like you said it before, it really depends on what you want to do with your bow. And I think for me then on top of that too is whatever setup anyone uses, it needs to be the one they feel the most confident with. You know what I mean? You don't want any niggling thoughts in the back of your head just before you squeeze off on an animal. So uh, it's like people need to have a little bit more of an open mind about archery and archery equipment because it's not one size fits all. And I feel like that's kind of where, especially the last maybe 3 years, people have been at war with each other quite a lot over the heavy arrows and stuff like that. And it's not really, it shouldn't really be like that. So
Yeah, I think
yeah.
like the key is that you control and you
hmm
know your setup. So if you are gonna shoot very heavy arrows, you have to be very precise with the distance because like it makes a big difference 1 meter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Half a
Exactly.
meter,
Yeah.
like a lot of people like I was the other day with some hunters and I saw like the bunch of tapes that they have on the
Yes.
side, and I used to do it like that, but like you see like it was like with a marker
Yes.
20, 30 more or less, and it's like how, like what is 30? Is the top of the thick line that you have placed, or is
Yes.
bottom, or it's the middle, like like,
Yes.
and those little things makes like it doesn't matter, but it matters. It's the
Yeah.
same with mechanical. Like with mechanical, when you get to 80 yards, they don't fly the same. Exactly as the field tip, the fixed heads. Like not all of them, even if your bow is tuned right, maybe not all of your fixed blades fly perfect. So you need to check them.
Yes.
With the buffalo, I had troubles like tuning with some of the fixed blades,
hmm
and I did the bird shaft tuning, knock tuning, shot every single arrow in 4 or 6 different positions. What was
Yes.
the best knock position? And it's like this
Yeah.
is, I mean, like
Yeah.
to the
That's
point that you lose, like I couldn't make it right, and I did a bunch of changes and all that. Like it's like the amount of people that they are not even aware that the arrow impacts different depending on your knock positions.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And honestly, that's one of the reasons I went back down to 500 too, because I got sick of spending so much time tuning those arrows and stuff like that to fly good. So yeah, I 100% know what you're talking about there. But yeah, and then so what are you shoot Grim Reapers, right?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
mechanical. Yeah,
Yeah. I,
and
I
with this,
always I always say if I ever went back to mechanicals, that'd be the brand I shot. I really like the engineering on them and stuff like that. So nice
yeah,
heads.
and they give me a lot of confidence. They fly great, and I have shot over 100, 200 animals with them, and it's true that with mechanicals, like if you are worried about penetration, because like the shoulder, like
Yes.
not the shoulder blade, but like
Yes.
the shoulder, like that bone,
Yes.
it's super tough,
Yes.
and you have to be aware of that. So it's true that you need to pick your proper angles, how to
Mm.
shoot the animals, and you have to be aware of that. But at the same time, you have a bigger diameter. So if you make a bad shot by accident or it's a little bit far back, you are also getting
hmm
a good ethical quick
Yeah,
training sometimes. So
yeah. I actually shot a younger whitetail with them. Geez, that must be 3 or 4 years ago now. And the first shot I thought was good, and it just kind of jumped up and ran off about 30 yards. So I thought, well, I'll just put another one in it, just to help speed it off. And then as I let the arrow go, it turned and I hit it in the hip joint with the Grim Reaper. And anyway, long story short, when I got the deer back, it had actually gone like right into the ball and shattered the hip joint completely. Like that's a lot
really,
of force in there. I was pretty impressed. The broadhead was dead. There was no reusing that, but it had really done a lot of damage in there. It was pretty impressive to see, actually. So yeah, but
yeah, but
yeah,
I think like the shoulder connection, like that bone, when the bone gets solid and there is the
yes,
joint, that's indestructible.
yeah. I
And
I, I accidentally shot an oryx there, and we just never found that animal at all. It was
no, and like when I was hunting buffalo in Uganda last time, we saw
yes,
a wounded by poachers, like a wounded water buck.
yeah,
And the official asked me, "Is like Pedro, can you shoot it and try to finish him up because he's wounded by poachers?" And the
yes,
water buck was like this,
yeah,
moving like, "Okay, I'll just take a shot at it," and it was facing me, so I was like, just the buffalo setup, it's just like
yes,
I'm not gonna have any issues. I hit the shoulder connection.
yes,
Literally, it was 1 inch of penetration
yeah,
with the buffalo setup.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's crazy, eh?
Nothing to the animal. And I
Yeah,
was like so embarrassed that the whole team was like, "Are you gonna shoot a buffalo with that?" And literally just because that bone connection is just like a golf ball. It's just like solid mass of bone. So
yes,
I don't know.
yeah, yeah. Uh, it's kind of the one spot on most animals is pretty tough to get through. So yeah, hey, you're like, how do you feel in general about like the politics around bow hunting in Europe and stuff like that? Like, I know you kind of live in Spain and you're lucky with that, but is there still like anti bow hunters in Spain? Let's start there. Like, is there still, or is everyone kind of on board with it now?
No, I don't think. I think everyone is more or less on board, and I haven't felt any resistance.
Have
I
you
don't-
always been able to bow hunt in Spain? You
Yeah,
have. Oh, okay, that probably helps too. Then, yeah, yeah, for sure.
but it's true that I think like the how we see like the culture maybe in Spain is a bit different than the culture in other areas of Europe. I think that in Central Europe they see hunting a lot as how to be the most like a management of the system.
Hmm.
So how to
Hmm.
be more efficient to manage the animals.
Hmm.
So the fun part of the challenge and the chase and the hunt is not a priority. So they
Yes.
see the bow is like why you want to do something that you can be more efficient and faster and be able to manage things better.
Yes.
Why you want to do it harder and take more risk because we
Yeah.
are not here to have fun or for the challenge, but to
Yes.
to manage the animal. So I think that's the biggest resistance.
Hmm.
But
What do you say to people like that? Like I actually don't have an answer for that one, I suppose. It's like I know why I do it. But like are they trying to say that it's wrong to have that enjoyment in what you do? Like, I don't know.
I think there is two explanations. Like one, the physical part to really explain how an arrow kills, because
Mhm.
people think that the animals suffer, but there has been tests in Spain with the wild boar problem in urban areas that they analyze all the wild boars, and there was not adrenaline found on the wild boar shot with the bow
Yeah.
because there is no noise. Wild boars they don't know what's happening, so they die. But it's like when I have never been stabbed by, but like those people that they get stabbed by a knife on a fight, and with adrenaline, they don't even know that they were stabbed until suddenly they look and it's like
Yeah.
it's kind of that feeling, and the animals die really fast. So I
Mhm.
think, like, especially like for buffalo or really big game, where
Yes.
the bullet shock or impact doesn't collapse the animal, I think an arrow kills faster.
Interesting. Yeah, that's cool.
Like
That
because
would
like
make
the
sense. Yeah.
rollback, the expansion of the bullet just drops the animals and kills it instantly.
Yes.
With the buffaloes, you see the videos, and they get three, four, five bullets, and the buffaloes are completely fine. But
Yes.
with an arrow, you go through the buffalo
Yes.
in a few seconds. Like mine died, I don't know, like in 10 seconds or 15.
Hmm.
So like I think like people don't understand that they kill different. So
Yes. Yeah.
and that's one thing. And the other thing that I hear a lot is like the bow hunting is not ethical because like, and when we talk about ethical, is like how do you define ethical?
Hmm.
It's like how you kill an animal faster, or how you give an animal more opportunities.
Yes.
And I feel like with bow hunting, you're giving the animal more opportunities because you need to be closer. It has more options of seeing you, of feeling that you are there, of escape. So you are giving more options to the animal to escape. So
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
think that that's a more ethical approach.
Hmm.
Like if I would be an animal, I think I'd rather escape from bow hunters than getting shot at 500 yards
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
from someone that you cannot even see.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm with you on that one. But like, just to kind of go back to that a little bit is like, you know, uh, bows can be a good management tool, like you were saying in urban areas and stuff like that. Like they're very good and that sort of stuff. But like those people that, like you were saying, are more about management of the animals. Like how do you talk to them about that? Like say they understand that the bow kills efficiently, but like that's quite a tricky subject to take on. Like as like I really feel like probably due to at the animal antis and the greenies and stuff like that, but it's really not okay to for a lot of people to be a hunter there anymore. Does that make sense? Like I'm proud to be a hunter. I like hunting. I don't enjoy killing. It's not something that I like. The actual kill is not what gets my spark. Like I was saying, it's very hard to actually describe what it is, but I know I have that fire in me for it. And like I think a lot of people lose that if you're just talking about management of animals. You know what I mean? Like I think there's two different things there, and I don't feel like we should be ashamed for for enjoying hunting. It's kind
Well,
of what
I
I'm trying to
think
say. Yeah.
so. Two things like the management. I do think that bow hunting is not the best management tool ever.
Hmm.
It's not the best. Like
Of
we
course.
takes more time. It's just like,
Yeah.
but it can be a great option. Like
Hmm.
there's some areas that you can get inside urban areas. They don't make noise. You don't. It's not as dangerous, and people can enjoy it their way. So I don't think that you have to mandatory say like for management you need to use the bow. No, use whatever, but don't let people that want to try and like the challenge to give it a try.
Hmm.
In terms of like hunting, I think that we we have been hunters since we exist. So it's
Hmm.
something that it's on us. And I
Hmm.
think that we all have that desire. And that I think that apart from like hunting and what you like about hunting or this and that, I think that it's even a chemical reaction
Hundred
in our
percent.
body
Mm-hmm.
that gratify us when we hunt. Because like as the same as when we eat, we sleep, we have sexual relationships, like our body gratify us to do that because that's what guarantees that we're going to survive for the rest. So
Exactly.
hunting is one of them. So
Yeah.
that's why when we hunt we feel excitement,
Hmm.
and it's our body rewarding us like keep doing that because that's going to keep us alive. So
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
there is even a physical thing inside of us more than the mental thing about why we do it, justify why or the reasons we like.
Yeah.
It's something that it's so deep
It
in
is.
our nature that is the same with dogs. They don't need to hunt to eat because you're giving them food, but they
Yes.
have it inside. Like they need the reward. Like that's
Hmm.
their
Yeah.
instinct. So
Yeah, it's funny. Is actually I hunt with a guy, Carl, if he's listening to this. But he said one time, he's like, "Why do you get so excited?" The same. I said, "I don't really know. I can't explain why that is." He said, "What if it is something from thousands of years ago? Pretty much what you were saying now, where all of a sudden you have food and your whole village has food, and that's really what the excitement's about. But we just kind of have lost that a little bit. You know what I mean? And it's basically what you were saying before: is it's something primal in you that you can't." Kind
yeah,
of unpack properly. It's
and that combined with the effort behind it,
yes.
because like when I shoot an animal, I get super excited because
Hmm.
it's like the amount of effort that it has taken you to get that opportunity. It's an
Yes.
opportunity that is never going to happen again. So it's not like, no, no, I didn't do it. Let's back up like 30 seconds and let's give it a try. So it's like once in a life. Every opportunity is once in a lifetime, and if
Yeah.
you screw up, you screw up. And
Hmm.
the more you have worked for that opportunity,
Yes.
the satisfaction on completing that opportunity and taking advantage of that opportunity. So,
Mm.
and at the same time, when you get to the animal, you are like, "Mm," because it's dead.
Yes.
Like I always get super excited as soon as I get the shot and I get the
Yes.
opportunity and whatever.
Yes.
But when you get to the animal, it's like, damn, they're beautiful.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
everything makes sense and it's connected. But
Yes. Yeah, 100%. It's funny, actually, as I watched The Lion King with my kids for the first time in the weekend, and there was a part where Simba's dad's talking about the circle of life, and he's saying, "But we eat the antelope." And he said, "Yeah, but when I die, I become grass, and then the antelope eat me." And it was like something I'd kind of forgot about. Actually, is that kind of link as well? So yeah, it was pretty funny. But no, that's cool. But back to like bow hunting in Europe, like I live in Sweden here and I'm from New Zealand, obviously, where you can do basically whatever you want. But like I get really frustrated with all the politics and how it's all moving over here and stuff like that. Like, have you got like say you were I don't know if you know much about it over here actually, but like how do you see these places where bow hunting is illegal? Like how do you like do you have any plans? Like would you we have any suggestions to get it moving in the right direction, I guess.
I think the EBF is doing an amazing job
Mhm.
around bow hunting, and it's just a matter of educating the people and creating enough desire on the hunters themselves
Mhm.
to push it from the
Okay.
inside. So I think
Yeah.
like getting that education on shooting the bows, how they work, getting people to shoot, and all that, I think
Yes.
it's super important. And I think it's a slow process. I think
Yes.
some countries it's never going to happen. I think like the UK, like the pressure from anti-hunt,
Yeah.
all that, I
Yeah,
think
it's
it's going
insane.
to
It's
be
insane. Yeah.
super hard. But I think like in countries, if they follow the right steps, like in Germany, in Austria,
Yes.
this and that, I think it
Mhm.
could be possible. And the first they need to be the desire in the hunting community. That I
Yes.
think some of the countries they don't have that. So they
Mhm.
think that the bow hunters are a very tiny group. It's more hassle. Some people are against it in our own hunting community. It's like, nah,
Yes.
I think it's bad. I don't want bow hunters in my area. They're gonna wound
Mhm.
the animals. They're gonna
Yeah.
educating that and then
Yes.
trying to.
Yeah. It's funny is like maybe it's a what do you want to say? Not the it's a oh, my brain. Maybe it's not like this everywhere, but I really don't see the EBF doing much in Sweden like here to help. Like I don't see any education going out. I never see anything, going to the wider communities and stuff like that. The one things I do see, which is good, is that they attend the hunting fairs and stuff like that, and they have a good stand up there, and you can check the bows and stuff like that. But I really don't see any attempts uh, to 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 normalize bow hunting. That's basically what I like. Like I managed to get a couple of the bigger Swedish influencers to start bow hunting, and that was my idea. Is I feel like if we can normalize it in front of people more, then it's just over time going to become accepted. But compared to like Finland, even Norway, and obviously Denmark, they're very motivated to get it sort of changed, I suppose. But um, like I know there's other parts of Europe as well that are pushing quite a lot for bow hunting as well. But yeah, I don't know. It wasn't really more a dig at the EBF, to be honest. It was more like I wanted to know from your point of view, like if you've seen anything that works that could be a help, I suppose.
Yeah, and I do think also like a lot of the work that these groups do is
Hmm.
not very satisfying. And like it's easy kind of to say like they should be doing more, but these people,
Hmm.
like they are putting their own time. They are
Yes.
going to the fairs, spending 3 days
Yes.
teaching every single minute how to shoot a bow,
Yes.
and they're putting money from their own pocket and
Hmm.
this and that. So
Yeah.
it's hard, and I think that's why it's important to support these
Yes.
two groups, because the more people behind it, the more
hmm
people supporting, the more budget they have to do things
That,
because
yeah, well, the Swedish ones have had like a nice little injection of new people and stuff as well, and I really like the direction it's going at the moment. So I think that's really good, and I'd also imagine that maybe the previous people were pretty burnt out trying, I guess, too. You know what I mean? So yeah, everyone's been there as well. So yeah, I don't know, but it's going in the right direction anyway. I think so.
I
It's
think
good.
with the online world, like I think bow hunting is not something strange. Like 10
hmm
years ago was something like, what's bow hunting? And this,
Yes.
but now on YouTube, on videos, it's so normalized to see someone with a bow
Yes.
that I don't think it surprises anyone. So
hmm Yeah. No, that's interesting. It's like always going to be a little bit of a hot topic, but yeah, I just was, you're a very well traveled person, and I thought you'd probably, maybe had some good insight to kick things over a bit more. But have you seen the finished results from the whitetail tests they're doing?
no,
Do you know about that?
I don't know anything about it.
So they did 100 whitetails shot with a rifle and 100 shot with a bow. And so they are analyzing the flee distance. They finished that. There's no difference in the average flee distance between rifle shot and bow shot. I think it was 1 centimeter difference or something. And then the other thing they're doing is like you're talking about with the adrenaline and stuff. So they're processing the blood samples at the moment and that's what's kind of holding a lot of stuff up. Actually, is waiting for those results to come out. So
It's amazing. And they're trying to legalize like the moose hunting, or what's the
correct.
next step
Yeah,
for them?
that's what that is, and then Sweden's hoping that those results also open it up for them over here. So, yeah, but it's pretty cool. Antti Sarenmaa is like one of the head guys. I'm sure he's the president of the bow hunting association in Finland. Maybe I got that wrong, but he's a really smart guy actually, and yeah, he's good to talk to. But he's
Yeah,
the one that's leading that. Yeah. So
that's very interesting.
yeah, yeah.
And I like the comparison because sometimes it feels like only bow hunters make bad shots.
hmm
And
Yeah.
and I have tracked a lot of
Yes.
with dogs a lot, and we
Yes.
all
Me too.
we all try our best, but we all make
Yeah.
mistakes.
Yeah,
So
100%. Yeah. And the other thing that they're doing is good about it, Pedro, is that they have like a proper vet doing the tests and stuff, and then they're going to get it peer reviewed. So it's like it's not a flash in the pan study or something. It's going to be like a properly locked up one.
okay,
Yeah,
cool.
which is really good. It's exactly what we need. So
Yeah, and I
yeah.
think it's gonna help like a lot
Mhm.
on other countries too. So
Yeah. Yeah. So that's pretty cool. Um so where have you been already this year? You've been what, 3 or 4 big trips?
no, I have been not.
Mexico was the first one, right? I think?
I was in Mexico in January,
Yes?
so I hunted Mexico there. We were hunting both rifle, bow, and shotgun. So we hunted goose deer, mountain lion, and geese.
Yes.
So it was kind of a chaos of a week.
Yes.
My cameraman was like, "I don't like this type of trips." It's like you guys
Yeah.
change plans every single day. It's like, no, today doesn't look good. Let's go for geese. It's like, how? Let me, like how I
Yes.
finished like the deer movie. We are hunting geese now, and now they call us that maybe they have seen fresh tracks of the mountain lion, so we're gonna try with the dog. So it's just like, but it was a fun trip and fun country to hunt on. So
Yeah.
really looking forward to go back to.
You'd recommend Mexico then?
Yeah, like the
Yeah.
amount of game they have, it's amazing. Like
Oh,
so,
wow, okay. Yeah.
they have like apart from like sheep, they have mule deer, whitetails, goose deer. They have the jungle stuff on the south too. They have turkeys, Barbary sheep. So like they have a lot of
Cool.
opportunities.
Yeah.
And at least for us in Spain, with the same language and all that, it's a
Mhm.
place that we feel
Makes
very
sense.
connected to. So it's
Yeah.
very nice destination.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Yeah, like I've never really seriously looked at going to Mexico. I don't know why, but yeah, if you recommend it, then I'll definitely keep a
Yeah, no, it's an amazing country.
yeah.
And we went also in March to Argentina to hunt red stacks.
Ah, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Was super like a beautiful hunt because we
Mhm.
went to the Andes to the mountains and we hunted with on a horseback hunt,
Yes.
and it was beautiful. Like the whole
Yeah.
thing, like hunting with the horses. We slept a couple of nights just sleeping on top of the saddles, like on the ground, like cowboy style, like super with the fire, no jet ball or anything, just like
That's awesome, man.
super cool.
That's cool. And so those videos are not out yet, though. Is that right?
Yeah, the Mexican ones, yes, but
Yes.
the one from Argentina will be released in the first week of September
Yeah, that's cool.
to get
That's cool.
people fired up with the red deer
Yeah.
with the
Yeah.
rap. But it was a very like honestly like one of the most beautiful hunts I have done.
Yes.
It was nice, and I remember that I told the guy, "Is like, I don't know if I will have to change something out of the like of the logistics of the trip. I think you should have like a jet boil, like to be able to boil water faster in the morning,
Yes.
so we can start hunting
Yeah.
earlier rather than the fire to build a fire,
Mm-hmm.
get a can, boil the water in the can. It's like that takes like a freaking hour." And the guy was like, "You are missing the point." He's like, "What do you mean?" He's like,
Yeah.
"That's the whole thing. It's like having 1 hour to boil water. Like you have to relax, enjoy the moment, think,
Yes.
take time, fuck about the red deer. They will be there,
Yeah.
and I was like, damn, that's one of it's gonna be one of those advices that I'll probably remember my whole life because you were like, you're missing the point.
Yes. Yeah.
Spending time on not very important things, it's very important.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when they cook the Argentinian people, when they cook the meat, that it takes very long. They put it over the fire, and it takes a couple of hours because it's just like slowly cooking because they don't grill it on top of the fire. Just put it there and with the heat, and like that time around the fire, just watching the meat cook for 1 or 2 hours, it's just like that's the moment. Like you need to enjoy that moment. And like I didn't look about. It's like life cannot be always like okay, we have the meat, turn on the jet ball, eat, sleep. It's just, no, it's the opposite. Like
Yeah.
that,
I bet you they see and enjoy a lot more life doing it that way rather than just, next thing, next thing. So yeah, that'd be magical too. And like I'm guessing there's not much light pollution there and stuff too, so the stars are beautiful and
no,
you
no,
know,
the weather was great. Like we
yeah.
didn't set up the tents or anything, so it was
Wow.
actually very nice weather, a lot of stacks, and we really enjoyed the trip.
Hmm. Yeah, that's cool. How does it compare to the New Zealand stag hunting then?
Like I haven't hunted stacks in New Zealand.
Aha, okay, alrighty. Would you
So
chamois and stuff, right?
Tonga and Tara have been twice, but never
Yes.
for stacks
Yeah, okay.
because I don't know why, but
Yeah.
I need to make it at some point.
Yeah.
But it's true that the terrain is very different. I think
Hmm.
the terrain here was easier to travel with the horse.
Okay. Yeah.
It's not as hard as New Zealand. That it's very thick cover. Like
Hmm.
this one was more open country.
Yeah, okay.
It was easier to see the animals from the distance,
Yeah.
stalking. So I don't know.
Oh, that's cool. And no, that sounds pretty cool. And are you doing stag culture again this year?
No, so we are doing one stag hunt every
Okay.
year.
Okay, alrighty. Oh, yeah. I
Uh, it was like we did it 2 years in a row, and the amount of resources, time,
yeah.
effort to produce that series,
Yes.
it's hard to
Justify
fit
it.
in and justify because
Yeah.
that's too much in too little time. So
Yeah, yeah. I have to say, I really enjoyed it. Though. I think it was fun watching you bounce around and the different, it's same animal. Well, not say. I mean, you see visual differences, but it's effectively the same animal, but in so much different terrain, and
no,
then
like
all the different,
the first
yeah,
year the idea came out with the COVID because like we couldn't travel, so it's like okay, let's do a crazy road trip around Spain.
yeah,
I think we spent 22 or 23 days hunting straight
yes,
in 6 different locations around Spain. So like it
yeah,
was like I don't know how we survived because it was with the slots media guys. So we were Jack and
yeah,
Lewis and
yes,
myself, and it will be like from one destination, finish that night, travel like 6 hours, arrive at 5 in the morning, have a coffee, and get back into hunting for
yeah,
Saturday.
and have to have the enthusiasm on your face and stuff.
And at night, backing up the content and all those things that people don't see. Just
Yeah, yeah,
it was, but it was super fun,
yeah.
and we did it the following year, and we went to Germany, Scotland, France, and Spain.
Mm-hmm.
and the experience was great. The only stag that we didn't get is the one in Spain that we tried with the bow,
Yes.
and it was tough. It was mountain stags in the Cantabrian mountains, and with the bow, I don't know. We hunted like for 11 days and we couldn't get one. So
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's happens, eh? But yeah, I just have to say I really enjoyed that. I thought it was a cool little thing, and I hope you keep it on the low simmer, the stag culture thing, and maybe one day it pops out again, kind of like as a bit, like even if it was a three-part series or something. You know what I mean?
the
Like,
thing is that
yeah,
the ride is only 2 weeks, so those to squeeze it and to travel to different, like it's easy to do it in Spain, but to travel around
yes,
and get the good timing and enjoy
yeah,
the hunts independently is not like
yes,
you need to be thinking on the next one. It's like 4 days, next one, 4 days.
yeah,
So it's tricky. So
yeah,
I'd rather do one proper stag hunt every year, like what we
yes,
did in Argentina, 10
hmm,
days, enjoy the stag hunt and release it,
yes.
and doing that consistently for
That,
as long as we can.
that's cool. Did you take if you shot a stag in Argentina, did you do it with the bow or rifle?
That one was with the rifle
Oh, cool. Yeah,
because
yeah.
I was going with my father, so we were
Hmm.
hunting together. So
Yep.
the goal was more to spend time with my dad and hunt
Ah,
together than.
yeah. That's something I miss. Is my dad's in New Zealand. You know what I mean? And same as you, as like, he's the man who took me hunting for the first time. You know what I mean? And I miss not being able to share a lot of the adventures. So yeah, I totally understand where you're coming from. That's
Yeah,
cool.
and when we go, I'd rather go with the rifle and hunt together and enjoy each other rather than
Mhm.
just being the guy, the painful guy that is with the bow, full in camo, shh, don't move, noises. It's just like with the
Yes.
rifle, you can allow more things, enjoy, be more relaxed,
Hmm.
and it helps.
Yeah.
Every time
Uh,
I go with the bow, I just need to, like on those hands, you need to be fully
yes.
in bow mode, by your own, pushing
Hmm.
it every morning, every night. So I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's cool. So, saddle hunting, Pedro. How are you finding it, bud?
It's funny that I'm actually enjoying it. Like
Yeah, I thought that's funny too.
when we were in the trade shows and we were talking about saddle hunting and all that, my
Yeah.
friend David from the archery
Yes.
stuff is like, these guys don't know you. Like
Yeah.
never seen you more than 10 minutes. I have
Yeah.
seen you up on a tree. It's like how you gonna do something up on a tree? Like Pedro, you don't like that. Like you
Yeah.
have never done it. Like yeah, I don't know, but we are hunting whitetails this fall.
Yes. Yes.
So I was kind of like, okay, maybe a good time to learn how to hunt from a tree because,
Mhm.
like, if I'm gonna spend a full week up on a tree, I'd
Yes.
rather practice now, learn how to get set up, how to get used to what I need, how I like, like to kind of figure things out.
Yes.
It's a learning curve to hunting whitetails in America. I have hunted a lot from trees, but only for wild boars. So
Mhm. Mhm.
which is different because wild boars is over bait or over the water holes or over
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
bathing places, crossing. So it's a bit different, and it's at
Yes.
night. So the trees help a lot in terms of like seeing
Just
stuff from the top, putting the light on when you draw. So I don't know.
yeah.
But for deer, it wasn't my thing. But I say, okay, let's give it a try this spring. And we have a territory that the density of deer is very low. So it's really, really hard, but it's very close to my house. So
Mhm.
it's nice because I go every other day. So, like not the best quality of deer, not high density, but it's very close. So I like it. And we say like, okay, let's try to figure out how to find spots and this and that. And yeah, I actually really enjoy the saddle thing, like because it's very flexible. Like the trees that we were getting up to, it's something that there are trees that probably with a tree stand would be impossible.
Mhm.
Hanging on two tree stands to have the cameraman will be even harder. Like there is no way.
Yes.
And also the amount of time it takes to get up on a tree stand, you set it up, work the tree, everything prepared. And I know myself, like I have lost in the past, I have lost tree stands because
Yes.
I love setting them up, but I
Yes.
never go. So at the end of the season, it's like, do you remember where we set up? Like, and I have lost a couple of trees. And like I don't even remember because I love preparing
Yes.
Like for wild boars and for specialists, like I love setting up places,
Hmm.
and I don't go.
Yes.
Like for me, the process of, oh, this place looks amazing, preparing the trip, but then I don't find time, or I find better things
Yeah.
to do, or stalking deer, and I never go. No, so I found very appealing the saddle
Mm.
thing, that you go climb up a tree, you
Yeah.
don't you don't like it when you're up there, nothing moves, you come back up, and the next day you go on a different tree. So
Hmm.
that gives you a lot of freedom.
Yeah, and it's that's the whole thing. It's just another tool to help you get where you need to be, or whatever. And it looks, from what I see, your setups is perfect too. Like, I mean, obviously, I only get to see a quick shot of what you're showing, but the way you're setting it up in the territories and stuff looks really good, man. So
Yeah,
yeah.
no, and roe deer, it's a very nice animal because they are
Hmm.
super territorial.
Yes.
And actually, on our second seat, I was like, yeah, just I missed last season a roebuck, and he gave me one opportunity. He jumped the string really bad, and we never got to see it again. And we hunted the whole season for that buck because he was blind from when we spotted the first day with the spotting scope. The left eye was like completely white, so it looked like a super old buck physically with a blind eye. So it's like very easy to recognize. And like 1 week later, I was able to stalk into range, shot it, and I missed it. And the whole season was just like focused on killing that buck, to the point that in, I don't know, like in end of June or whatever, I was like, I'm fed up. Let's go somewhere else. Like I don't care anymore. Because it's
Yeah.
boring, because you get in, you don't see it, or it barks and you're like, okay, the day is over, and it's just 6 in the morning. But since I want to kill that buck and it's gone, let's go home. So it was kind of like a pain.
Hmm.
And the territory was like very small but like very thick, and there was a tree that I have always looked to, like maybe we should set up a tree stand, but I don't know, like I never found the time to spend a morning setting up a tree stand. But with the saddle thing, it's like, I know where we have to go today. It's like, let's give it a try to that tree.
Hmm.
We climb up, and actually when we were climbing up, some wild boars were coming out like super
Yes.
early. Like I have never seen wild boars that early, but I don't know. So the way we set up the saddle was like awful, like terrible, like everything crooked.
Yes.
You know, like when you're climbing up, it's like wild boars telling the camera, leave the boat. Now what I do with the boat, attaching things, like it was a freaking chaos.
Yeah.
And we never got that chance to shoot the wild boar anyways. But
Yes.
that roebuck ended up appearing like 2 hours later, and I ended up shooting the roebuck at, I don't know, like 12 yards.
Yeah. Nice.
And it was just amazing. Like things happen very fast, but
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
when you are up on a tree, like they don't have a clue that you are there. They don't look up. You can draw the bow, just like incredible.
Yeah. And I really like the freedom you have in the saddle too. Like for just moving around and shot placement, and your firing angles and stuff is a lot nicer. So
It's true that I
yeah.
need more practice, because I set it up on a way that, like the whole time the saddle was trying to pull me out of the tree.
Hmm.
When
Yeah.
you are like,
Yes.
need to fight it a little bit. So,
Yes.
but I mean,
Yeah.
he gave me a great shot at 12 yards. And last week also, like we located a buck that we had never seen, and it was on an area right now in June. This part of the country, like the
Mm.
grass is like chest high.
Yes.
So from the ground, you don't do nothing. You see the head, and there's no way. But up on a tree, it gives you a
Yeah.
different
Perfect.
perspective, and it gives you uh, a different
Yeah.
angle. And I think it was the fourth seat this season, and that buck came out perfect, offered me a 43-meter shot,
Hmm.
dropped him on the spot, like hit him right in the shoulder, and just like flipped and dead. And
Nice.
I looked to the camera like, this freaking thing is like,
Yeah. Yeah.
like I don't know if every other seat we're gonna kill a buck. I don't know if we like, this should be illegal. You know,
Yeah.
like this is freaking amazing. So,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. No.
especially for the afternoons, like
Yeah.
the evenings, like it's great because you don't move, and you force yourself to don't move the whole
Hmm.
afternoon.
Hmm.
Let the animals move in the last light. You don't make any noise. That if not, you are just like sitting down, moving, I'm not comfortable.
Yes,
Let's
exactly.
take the other place, and that way you are forced to don't move
Yeah,
until it gets dark.
yeah. And I mean, like, I've done a few 10 and 12-hour sits of mine, and I've never come down sore or anything. You know what I mean? Like, I like through some of the rut in Finland, I've tried to stay out as long as I can. You know what I mean? Because you never know when a buck's going to come past. But I find compared to like tree stands, I go back in them, I get a sore butt, and I get really frustrated. I feel like I'm kind of trapped in that seat now, rather than being free in the tree. So yeah, it's great. I'm surprised that you enjoy it so much too, because I think we even said that you're more of a spot and stalk kind of a guy, you know. So yeah, it's very cool, very cool.
No,
So
I can't wait to share the content because both kill shots
yeah,
are
beautiful.
head on, and like the second one, like we enjoyed that bug for half an hour or so when it came out until it got into range, and the way it comes in the grass, like it just like disappears, appears, range it disappears again, range it,
Cool.
and I ran out of battery on my rangefinder,
Yes,
like in the worst moment of my life.
yes,
Range like the battery, can't freaking believe it. So, and thank God, like I have a rangefinder, also my binos,
yes,
but it's not as fast. So like, but I was able to range it on an opening, adjust the sight. I did
and
the meh,
oh
like
yeah,
not even drawing back. I was
yes,
like, I'm gonna do a mech so he doesn't move. So he like stays there for like 30 seconds, gives me enough time. It's true that when you start shooting a little bit farther, like the stability of the shot, like it's not the same when you
hmm
shoot on the ground. Like
yes,
you feel
correct.
like at 43, like, and rollbacks are tiny, so it's just like 23, 24 kilos. So I was like
Yes,
just struggling to get the pin settled in the animal. But
yeah. If I mean, I think it's interesting because I mean, the other thing too is I have to forget is like I was an arborist for 16 years, so I'm super used to being in a tree, right? But I don't find like if you're not set up correctly, then it can be a little bit shaky. But I actually find that you can stabilize. You know how like it's almost like how the Olympic shooters use slings for when they're doing rifle shooting and stuff like that. The harness can kind of give you a little bit of the same stability actually, because you can lean into it. Yeah. Anyway, it's just something to play around with. But
yeah, and
yeah,
probably it comes with experience that we haven't got that
exactly.
experience.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but it's, I mean, I'm super happy for you. It's cool. And I get real pumped when you're like, I got one. I'm like, yes. Makes me real happy. So, yeah, it's
Yeah.
cool. Very cool.
All my hunting buddies are surprised. It's like, no, I
Yeah.
got a second one. Like, what the fuck? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
You guys
I,
are enjoying this?
I really want to try and sit over do you guys have, you must have like a wallow for stags in Spain? Man, like finding a perfect tree by a wallow would be, I mean, then you probably have to sit some hours, but that would be a fun thing to try and take a stag out of that. I think that'd be interesting.
That's how I got the elk last year in Mongolia.
Yes.
It was out of a wallow. But
Yeah.
it's true that the wallows, they hit the animals, hit them very well earlier on the before the rut. So,
Hmm.
but I think it must be cool because the perspective from the tree of seeing stuff and knowing that you are not gonna be seen, it's pretty cool.
Hmm.
Because from the ground, it's like I'm gonna get busted. I'm gonna get busted like it's just a matter of maybe a minute or 3 minutes. I'm gonna get busted.
Yeah.
In the tree, you are like doesn't have a clue that we are up here. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
we don't even
And
look. So,
and even like I see like I've had some predatorial birds land in the trees next to me, only for a few seconds because they clock you pretty fast. But that's how good that stuff is. Is like they got sharp eyes and they don't miss much. So it's pretty cool. And actually, I don't know if you saw, I just released saddle hunting in Africa.
yeah, I
But
really enjoy the video.
oh, thanks, buddy. Yeah,
The,
but those
the
monkeys.
monkeys with the monkeys and the
Bro, that was weird. Like, I really thought, oh man, it's gonna be over those things. But they just like, kept looking at me for ages, and I didn't move. And then, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes later, they were just back to playing around and stuff. So it was pretty funny. But yeah, they really helped me in the end because they make so much noise. Like it was good. So
it's a period that you couldn't record. Well, I'm not gonna do any spoilers.
no, no, no. But yeah, it is. It is. It is. It was. like I was genuinely happy with that end, but not as happy as if I'd been able to put my, hands on that animal as well. So it's just something that, like, not a lot of people can say they've had that ending, I don't think, to a hunt. So yeah, it was a little different. So
How it goes sometimes. I'm thinking
yeah,
I need to explore because one of the things that I want to hunt is a hippo or a crocodile because
yeah,
I think not because of like the crocodile is not for the trophy,
yes,
but I'm scared. I mean, like everyone is scared of crocodiles and the
yes,
water, and that whole system of the water getting eaten. So it's something that I'm keen to explore. Like how to bait a crocodile, how to see it come off the water, how to be really close for a bow shot, and
yes.
how to recover. All those things gets me excited because it's like such a world that I don't know about.
Hmm.
I'm keen on exploring and seeing how it turns out because I don't know.
Yeah,
And
that'd
I
be
was
awesome.
thinking the other day, like, what about being up on the saddle? Maybe like the crocodiles, they don't look up. Like
Yeah,
I don't know. If,
yeah. I don't know actually. Yeah.
is it gonna be the skin too thick to to like kind of like stab it against the? I don't even know. So I'm
I,
thinking that might be a good option. Like
yeah.
it must be safe because the crocodiles are not gonna climb up a tree, but
Yeah. It's interesting as I don't even remember where I saw that, but the gators, they shoot them, well, they try and shoot them in the back of the head, don't they? Like that. But I don't know if you could do that with the crocodiles because they're quite a bit bigger.
back in the days they used to use like a line and a float.
Yes.
But recently, the bow hunters that I have seen, they are not using anything. So they are just aiming for the lungs,
Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah.
waiting for the croc to come back up. But I don't know.
Yeah. It sounds like a dangerous event anyway, but it sounds fun at the same time. So
I don't know.
yeah.
It's something that it's interesting because like I don't know anything about, so I'm curious about learning stuff.
Mate, I'm going back in August for filming, and one of the places has that big dam there, and I want to, the bass lures with the little legs that go across the top like that, like the little frog lures. Have you seen them? They wind them, and their legs kick on. It's like a frog lure. Anyway, I want to make a human size one of those, and like wind it across the lake and see what happens, man, and film that. It'd be crazy. I think. Yeah.
We were in Namibia last month, and the guy was like, "No, I have swim in this river. It's just the key thing is not to like if you fall in the water, don't splash. Just like move slowly. It, like must be easy to say, but like if I fall in the water, like I'm gonna just like as fast as possible. But
Yeah. But yeah, we flew over that dam in a helicopter one time, and man, if I told you there were 200 crocodiles on the
really,
bank, that wouldn't be an exaggeration. It was insane. Nobody's swimming across that and getting out alive. That's for sure. Yeah.
I want to go to Australia, and the guy and asked the guy, is like, can we spearfish while we are there? And it's like, "Phew, I don't know. There's quite a bit of saltwater crocodiles. So like, I don't know. Like,
Yeah, but it's not even that. It's like, especially up the north. Have you watched them where they're like fishing off a boat and they're trying to get the fish up before the sharks get them, and there's just heads coming up on the. It's like,
they're
yeah,
huge, so I don't know.
yeah, different sort of place. So, all right, buddy. Well, what else have you got planned for the rest of the year? You got any
Yeah, so we're
cool
going
hunts?
to Russia in August.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We're hunting snow sheep and brown bear,
Wow. Cool.
rifle hunt for the snow sheep, and hunting the
Brown
brown
bear.
bear with a bow. So
Wow.
it should be fun. When we were last year in Uganda hunting buffalo, we got really close to a buffalo, and I don't know, like under 20 yards of three buffalo bedded down in the rain. And like when you are like so excited that your mouth is like completely dry, like nothing,
Yes.
like not even
Hmm.
like completely dry. And the buffalo just the wind changed, they stood up, they, like they ran and this and that. And we look at each other, and it was the PH and the cameraman, the three of us, and we're like, I cannot even, like, swallow. We were both like, and my and Roberto, the cameraman, was like, I don't know, like if like I was scared because he was so focused on filming that he thought that we were inside the whole herd, rather than being like on the tip.
Mm-hmm.
He thought
Mm-hmm.
that we were surrounded by buffalo. So when the buffalo stood up, he was like filming and trying to look if we were, because he lost kind of like with the
Focus.
filming. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I told him like, fuck, if this was exciting, imagine being like 20 yards of a brown bear.
Oh,
That
dude.
those things are meant, they have claws, they teeth, they eat meat, and
They're
they are
fast.
proficient
Yeah.
predators. So it's just like, it must be to a complete different level, because a buffalo is dangerous, but it still
Uh-huh.
is a cow.
Yes.
It's like, okay, you can hit me with the horns, but you cannot take my brains out, like.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah. I have to say, the first Cape Buffalo hunt I went on, I shat my pants a few times because we were just in like really thick stuff, and you can kind of see little bits of them and stuff. And then once they get your wind, like it's insane. It sounds like the thunder and everything's smashing and breaking, like this running through bushes, and you're just like, well, I hope they're not running this way. It was,
and,
yeah,
and the noise is so loud that you don't know if they're running towards you or they're going,
exactly.
like for the first thing, like I don't know where they're running, because there's so much noise that I don't know if it's coming this way or it's going the other way. So
That's and when both guys are the doubles, like could start doing these ones, you're like, okay, rightio, let's see what happens. So, that's cool. Hey, you were saying, sorry, we bounce back. Whitetails in America this year, is that happening?
yeah, we're
Cool,
going
man.
to Ohio.
Ah, that'll be awesome. I've never been, but it's supposed to be amazing there. So,
Yeah, and
uh,
we're trying to organize a second hunt. Might as well that we are there. So
yeah,
I don't know, but the guys says that it's 50-50
uh
to
huh,
get an opportunity. So we'll see.
yeah,
Like
that's
I
cool.
think that the whitetails, like, to be honest, I have never feel attracted to,
Hmm.
because of the amount of videos that there is online, and it's always the same thing. But after analyzing the amount of people that they love whitetail hunting, is like I'm missing something out.
Yep.
I'm
Yeah.
missing out on something, because like people don't get too excited, like there's not that amount of people so obsessed with something if
Hmm.
there's not something. So I was
Yeah.
like, I really want to do it. I really want to experience it, because I'm missing out of something. And since I have this hunt lineup, since I have started hunting with the saddle rollbacks and all that, is like I think there is so much potential for me to learn their
Yeah.
tactics,
Yeah.
apply them to our game,
Hmm.
that I'm really keen on going. Like I'm watching whitetail videos now, which
Yes.
I've never done in my life. And
Yeah. Yeah, I'm supposed to go to Kentucky and then Georgia this year for 2 weeks, and so that'll be interesting because it's the same thing as like I go over there and I try and learn from the guys, more so than the hunting because I go to Finland a lot for the whitetail there, and I really enjoy that as well. And I try and take what I learn from the Americans over to Finland as well. And sometimes it works, but I mean, like they have the big white oaks. That's what a lot of their hunting's based on, unless you're going there through the rut, of course. But we don't have those in Finland. You know what I mean? So it kind of changes a little bit too on things. But
but I'm a
uh,
huge fan of how the Americans, how technical they are.
yep.
So like how much they take apart about what the deer do, the tactics. Like they get very detailed on that.
Hmm.
While when I hunt, is like, what tactic are you gonna do today? It's like, I don't know. I'll play my gut. So I'm always like playing as things go, and my instinct says like I should be up there, or I should. But it's all about instinct. But if you
Hmm.
tell me like right up why you take your decisions, I'm not able to.
Yes.
So I feel very jealous on how a lot of the American guys have been like developing the
Uh,
techniques and understanding how the deer move, the winds. Like I don't know.
yeah. It's interesting though, because I think like what you have is probably more magic. You know what I mean? Because not everyone has that. Like a lot of people just have no idea what to do when they go out hunting. So if you have that gut instinct, which is from experience and knowing the animals and knowing the land and stuff, I think that's probably arguably better in some ways than having to kind of go to a rule book or whatever you want to call it, a tactic book, you know? So,
Yeah,
yeah.
but like at the same time, like it typically works great, but it gives me also like the feeling of playing everything by ear or
Hmm.
whatever as it comes. And
Yeah.
sometimes I would like to have better strategies of like,
Hmm.
I'm gonna sit on a tree. I want to be this one in particular.
Yeah.
Because where I think it's better, the wind, the transition. I don't know. I don't have anything. So
Yeah. The thing I like about whitetail too is that like they change so much through the season as well. Like my favorite is September the 1st in Finland when it opens up. They're all on the fields. They're running around a lot. You know, you got a really good chance of getting something then. And then I actually find the rut in Finland quite challenging because they stay in the deepest of the forests, and obviously, like access wise to a lot of those bits are a little bit difficult because of hunting boundaries or even just being able to get in there without them seeing you. You know what I mean? Like to be in the right spot is hard. So it's it's pretty fun, and I learn every. I mean, the most annoying thing is like what I learn this season, usually I have to wait another year to apply that knowledge. That makes sense. Like that's really frustrating for me because, yeah, it's like, damn it, I should have done this next year. I'll have to remember to do that instead. But
No, the
yeah,
whitetail thing in Finland sounds like a lot of fun,
yeah,
and I
yeah.
think I'll do it at some point.
I mean, you got an open invite there, and it's I basically do quite a bit of scouting and work out where they're moving, and then I'll pick a spot to put my saddle, and then I will often readjust it again the next day to be closer or something like that. You know what I mean? And that's kind of my game plan, and it works pretty good. So
The morning seems like harder
yeah,
to choose because like by the time you climb up, you have a spook.
hmm
So, but that's the I think like the whole thing is like okay, in the mornings you cannot hunt them where they're gonna come out. You need to hunt them where they're gonna pass after
exactly.
coming out. But it's true that rollbacks, the territories sometimes are so small that it's just like the same.
hmm
It's the same place. You know, it's like they live right here in the forest. They come out and they so like sometimes they only walk 200 meters from the
hmm
bedding to the food. So
Yeah, yeah. The roebuck area that we have in Finland there. Last year I counted $7 in about a maybe 400 radius or something like that. And they were always just moving around within that little tiny area. So it was quite surprising to me. There was one buck that we had on a trail camera that would wander about a kilometer and a half, just kind of along the shoreline, back up and down that one and stuff like that too. But that was quite interesting because, I mean, like, I didn't grow up with roe deer. I didn't grow up with whitetail. You know what I mean? We had mainly goats and pigs where I grew up and did my hunting. So I've had to learn all the stuff coming over to Europe. And it's been a lot of fun, and I really enjoy. I feel like I play chess with the animals. You know what I mean? Like I'm going to put myself here. Let's see where the animal goes, kind of thing. That's how in my head it makes sense to me. So it's a lot of fun learning them.
no,
So,
that's probably the funnest part of rollback hunting is to figure out what they do.
hmm
Now with the trail cams and the SMS and all that, fascinating. Like
yes.
you haven't tried just even if it's not in your hunting area, like to try to see real time what animals do, and suddenly you see one day that all the animals are moving. It's like why the fuck this particular day at this time everyone is moving, and it
hmm
happens a lot in Spain that suddenly the whole morning you don't see any single animal, and suddenly at 11 in the morning all the animals are moving. And like why today?
Yeah.
What's the reason? I'm trying
hmm
to understand why nature does what it does. Is like there must be something behind it, but I'm not even close to trying to solve
Yeah,
the thing.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Like sometimes in Finland too, that happens, and I find it like 1 o'clock too at random times. The 1 o'clock will be really hot as well. I don't know what the go is with that, but
I
midday
think like
feed or something, I guess.
the middle part of the day, it's super calm.
Yes.
Like at least in Spain or where we hunt, early in the mornings, there's people walking, the dog, the
Uh,
farmers, the guys checking the crops, the foxes are hunting. It's beautiful time of the morning, but everyone is out.
that
Like
makes sense.
people hiking, hunters,
Hmm.
everyone. But in the middle of the day, no one else moves.
Yeah.
It's super quiet. Actually, you go on a hike at 2 when everyone is at lunch break, and there is no one in the field. There is not a single farmer. There is not a single hunter. The foxes are not hunting because it's too warm. So I think that the roebucks feel very safe during the middle part of the day.
It makes sense, actually. Yeah, why not? And I don't know if it's true or not, but people around here say that they have to move or have to eat every 3 hours or something, right? The roebucks.
Yeah,
So, yeah, that's yeah, must be synced up with that a little bit too, I guess. So, yeah, that's cool,
funny,
man.
funny little animal.
Yeah. I mean, they're really a nemesis to me. I've only shot one. I just, I seem to have insanely bad luck with them. So, yeah, it's
And
just,
then they are so fast that it's so hard to actually getting into range, but also like harvesting after getting into range because they move, they feel. So it's a very tricky animal. Can you
mm,
have them doing the rut or not?
no, we can't do them. We can't hunt them through the rut here. Yeah, it'd be fun. I want to do it one time. I did it in. Well, that was a bad story. I used to do a little bit of stuff with an outfitter in Hungary, and he was like, "Yeah, come to the rut. We, for the rut, we do it all the time in Hungary." And I turn up, and the first buck we see, we call, and it starts running towards us. So I kind of push myself into the hedge a little bit, and the cameraman and stuff too. And the buck comes around the corner and stops instantly. I'm like, there's no way that he can see me. What the hell's going on? And I turn around and the guide's standing in the field, like just broad daylight there. Like, I'm like, what are you doing? Like, and they had never done it with bows before. They just used to doing it with rifles and stuff. So it took us about 2 days just to get the calling sequence right and how to set everyone up and stuff like that. And then on the last day, we kind of got started getting it right, but it didn't work. It was really fun anyway, watching them respond to the caller and stuff like that. But
No, it's
yeah, yeah, and they were joking, like they thought the decoy that I bought was rubbish, but I use that a lot now, and especially in spring. But yeah, so that was my only experience has been a bad one actually in the rut, but I would like to do it again, yeah, for sure. So
we hunt them a lot
yeah,
every run, like
yeah,
obsessively, and people are like, how you make it so that many bucks come into the call is like you call for 7 days, 24 hours a day, and you get lucky, like
yes,
people are not aware about how much, like during the middle part of the day, how well the bucks respond to the calls, because actually they respond better than early mornings and late afternoons
yeah,
because they are bedded, the doe is bedded, so they know that if they leave, the doe is going to be there. So in the mornings they're chasing the doe, so it's like, I hear something but I'm focused on something else, I don't want to leave my doe. But when they are bedded, it's like, okay, honey,
makes
stay
sense.
there, I'll be back.
Yeah, I'm gonna go and get another one. Yeah, yeah, it's interesting actually because what you're saying is right. Actually, it's like it was really hot. It was like 30 degrees or something in Hungary, and we were hunting there, but we were there out all the time, and a lot of the cool stuff we saw was maybe 1 o'clock or something. Actually, from memory, we had one buck come chase a doe right past us, like they didn't even see us, like going full speed, obviously, but maybe past us at like I don't know, 10 meters or something like that. In the middle of the field, we were just standing still, and they were chasing around us and stuff like that. It was just crazy. Yeah.
It's no, like to grab the attention of our back, doing the, we call it in Spain doing the wheel. I don't know
Okay.
how it's called in the
Yeah.
technical term in English, but you really need to bark like crazy. It's like,
Yeah.
"Ah!" But something that even the dog stops, like, what the hell is going on? Because
Yeah.
if not, they are just so focused on their thing that they don't even.
Yeah. I've got some of that on film actually somewhere. It was pretty insane to watch. So yeah, but the doe ended up seeing us, and she took off, and of course he was just following her. So yeah, it's good. Well, buddy, thank you very much. I really enjoyed this. It's been a good chat actually, and yeah, I'm like I was saying, is I'm super happy that you're enjoying the saddle hunting. It's a neat way to see the world too, just from the tree like that. So it's cool.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
start planting trees now.
For the next generation of hunters.
For my son, because one of the areas that we have, we don't have a single tree, so it's like there's so many good spots that would be great. I need to start planting like straight pine trees or something.
Yeah, why not? I mean, like it'd be a good idea. Just plant 5 or 10 pine trees so they keep pushing themselves up and they grow straight. Be a good idea. So yeah, perfect. Hey man, thank you very much. One more time, Pedro Hunting Adventure, Pedro Ampuero. Is that how we say it? I can never say your last name properly.
Pedro
Sorry.
Ampuero hunting adventures.
There we go. Yeah. So, and I'll put the links and stuff in the channels too. So, yeah,
Yeah, so
dude.
thanks a lot for everything, and hope we can cross paths in the field.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
So,
That'd be awesome, man. I appreciate it. Thanks, dude.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you for listening. I appreciate it. Make sure you follow us for more.